Good evening, everyone. Welcome Odd, welcome Aleph, welcome Sneak Cat, welcome Phoenix, and welcome anyone viewing anonymously to the grand finale of Epilogue streams. Oh fuck, I was gonna post on Twitter, and then I didn't. Give me 1 second to post some shit on, motherfucking Twitter. What? I just accidentally clicked on something and was reminded that you can make polls on Twitter. So I should probably stop using straw poll when I do polls. Although, do you need a Twitter account to vote in Twitter polls? Because if you need a Twitter account to vote in Twitter polls, then I'll keep using straw polls so that people without Twitter accounts can vote. I'm just thinking about bonus stream. Why am I thinking about bonus stream games? Y'all, look. It's been kind of a rough day, foggy brain-wise, so I'm gonna have to ask for your patience just a little bit with where my brain is going. Okay, right. What is that? Hannibal Buress Equius. I feel like I know who that is, but I'm not 100% sure. Is that the guy on one of the guys who does the Eric Andre show? D&D character brainstorming. Good. Oh, you're building redstone in Minecraft. Sweet. I have no context for what that is, but I wish you luck with your endeavors. Super Hulock classes at Tumblr University. Shut the fuck up. Oh, banned from, damn, rip. Making villagers in Minecraft. Fuck. Pardon me? Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying about the track art, Aleph. You're just gonna stick with Tumblr till it dies. That is fucking valid. I still kind of miss Tumblr sometimes. I feel like there's, like, meme shit that goes around on Tumblr that, like, doesn't make it over to Twitter, and I mourn the loss of not knowing that meme shit, because Tumblr memes are, you know, there's some that don't make it off the platform, and they're always really unique and really fucking weird. Weird hill to die, but at least, oh, Jesus Christ, Aleph. Oof, Walgreens and the pet store too, yeah. You mourn the loss of a Twitter free of ace discourse. Oh no, has that finally come to Twitter? Maybe I'm just following the right people, but I haven't really seen it. Oh, you watch it through a YouTube channel. Yeah. It's... Wow. What the fuck is time? It's coming up in December. It'll be 1 whole year since I left Tumblr. Which is, like, really weird to think about, because I was on that website for a full 7 years, almost exactly to the day. On my one account, with my one URL. Okay, I should actually post about, since, like, 2018. I should actually make the tweet that I was gonna make about the fact that we're streaming. Typing. The fuck do I write? There's the little lollipop emoji. I just realized that I was not talking at all while I was typing. My brain really can't be doing two things at once today. Okay. I tweeted. Cool. Okay, let me, I gotta show you the thing that was at the top of my, my Twitter feed when I reloaded the page. Shit. How the fuck do I do this? Here we go. I reloaded my Twitter feed auto-reloaded after I posted, and this was right at the top. I was like, fuck yeah. Cold fruit porridge. I feel like I feel like we had a conversation relating to cold porridge being used to describe something that's not porridge, but I don't remember what it was. That's just the kind of brain day it is today. Your character's birthday coming up. Oh yeah, your birthday's in December. That's right, your birthday's in December, Sneak Hat. I know you were talking about your character, but that just, reminded me of that as well. Whether or not Jesus is a god, Kinney. Yogurt parfait. Right, that's what the conversation was. Also, yes, trans rights. This is, yeah, Sonic Fox has done wonderful things with his amazing talent as a professional gamer. Okay. So, I am, okay. So, community news for today. Good practice for the Jesus. Oh, just so you know, I have not been practicing my Obama impression, and I will need you to critique me on it as the stream goes. I went, honestly, I did in my whole heart mean to, look up some videos of him saying speeches or whatever, but, functioning today was not a fun time. So, that is where that is. Okay, this. So, E-Boy Hussy. We're back here. I cannot remember whether or not I dutifully reported on the sports look with the weed socks. But he posted these, 1 week ago. Yeah. There's a what? Oh my god. Only when singing Katy Perry's Fireworks. That is very fucking specific. Okay. Here's the third photo in that installment. This is from a week ago, and I just don't remember if I actually talked about it during pre-screen. But, it's here. This was from today. You can see it's 14 hours ago. So there's not much going on here. But this one, you can see he is holding with orange painted nails. Very nice. That's a nice color. A box of Toblerones signed with his name. And then tweeted out this, showing the exact location, and this, which what was it fucking called? Geocaching? Something like that, right? Ah, your Ranger Black. Yeah. Oh no, I got your Baby Is You reference. Sorry, I've been simultaneously trying to keep up with chat and keep this moving at a reasonable pace, because I know I've been kind of stuttering over my own thoughts at the moment. You want free Toblerone? God, what I would fucking give to live close enough to this area. But no, so this is like apparently San Francisco area. Oh shit, that's what I forgot. Someone, we're gonna take a peek down my Twitter feed, because someone found them, but I need to find the tweet. Okay, it was this person. No. Yeah. So here's what was in the bottom of the box. You're welcome, with this picture. Took a few, gonna do a little hunt in my hometown in a week or so with the extras, leave the rest for y'all. So there's, I think, 7 or 8, they said, left in there. Oh yes, there's the bag, there's the selfie, there's the area. So, how am I gonna link these? I think I'll just link this one. Okay, there. That's how I'm gonna link that, in the description. Oh shit, I forgot to actually link Andrew Hussey's Instagram. Okay, -2 brain cells today, lads. Fucking right. Took some and put them in the purse. Yeah. Homestuck Stu's crossed with the Jaden Smith anime. Oh my god. Fuck, why can't I remember what it's called? That's some good shit. I watched that. Caprese Martini. Andrew Hussey Giant Toblerone. Oh yes. Guess who's got a refresh? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. I think my internet is doing okay on my end this time. Anyway, so someone found those. And then... What? Andrew Hussey with 3 S's? Anyway. So this is more aesthetic pictures inside the cave. I think this one is my favorite of all the e-boy pictures that he's posted. I love the cryptid vibe. True, it was... Neo Yokio! Yes! That is the name. God. That whole thing is such a fucking trip. You have finished your... Well, I hope you enjoyed your cold porridge. Hussey Toblerone indulgence. Yeah, apparently this is the exact place where he took the original... cave picture. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. God, of fucking course the image is on Know Your Meme. Motherfucking cave. A young Hussey holding a Toblerone. You can see the resemblance in the 2 photos with the cave. Oh my god. Get off my screen. No! There. A little box in the corner explaining what Rule 34 means. No thank you. No, I don't want that on my video. Okay. E-boys are cryptids. You were not, yeah. I saw it in the corner and I was like, that's not gonna be there. I hadn't even noticed either, but then it did like a zoom in thing and it was like, if something exists, there is porn of it. And I was like, you know what I don't want to talk about on my stream? Porn. Anyway, baby Hussey. And then, oh yes, and it is Andrew Hussey's birthday today. Fun fact, he is now 40 years old. Happy birthday, Andrew Hussey. Why did it autocorrect? Christmas tree, jeez. Okay, let me just copy this link and put it in my documents so I remember to link it under the YouTube video, because I forgot to do that first. Okay. Good shit. Let's close that. And move on to... well... this. Okay, so... yesterday, I'm gonna link... yeah, I'll link this first. So yesterday... Andrew Hussey... what did he do? I'm not caught up on this podcast yet, okay? I'm on episode 48. I've made progress, but I'm still not caught up. And I gotta get fucking caught up because I sent in a question for this episode. I don't know if they used it. I hope they did. But I want to find out whether or not they actually took my question. But either way, I'm very excited about this episode generally. Because it was, the prompt was like, talking about Homestuck in the context of like, comics theory. And, you know, why Homestuck art is not bad, actually. And I was like, yes! Yes! Art! Please, talk about Homestuck art. In a way that is not, like, in an art theory way. Please talk about Homestuck art in an art theory way. Or a comics theory way. I fucking... that's my shit. I mean, I'm in fucking art school, so, like, of course it is. Multiple things you're interested in, but you don't like interviews. They make you sad. Oh. Okay. That's alright. But yeah, I was very excited to hear... oh yes, also Sam Keeper, who I believe I've mentioned and or linked to a couple times over the course of my streams, is like a fucking A+ words person. She's very good at this, and so I was very excited to hear her talk about it. But they ended up getting a letter from Andrew Hussey himself that he sent for them to read. So if you want to hear them reading it, then I'll link the episode. But for now, I have read the transcript. So, yeah, the rest of the episode is not available as a transcript. But, specifically this writing from Hussey is. I didn't actually realize how long it was because I started reading it and I just got completely fucking sucked into it. And then I didn't realize how long it took me to read it. But it is apparently roughly 2,500 words. And it might take me a bit to read it. And I'm just wondering. You're on 16? Yeah. I'm just wondering, would you folks want me to read this out loud right now? Or just do, like, talking points? Because it's kind of, there's a lot happening here. It's like a good amount of fic. 8 phone screens long. Yes, these are all very interesting and valid ways of measuring how long a thing is. But yeah, I read it off of, like, I have the Tumblr app on my phone just for notifications from a few places, so I ended up finding out about it from a notification from, like, the Homestuck info Tumblr, and they had kind of copy-pasted, like, they reposted the whole transcript, so I just read it on there, on my phone. We should get Hussey to read it. I mean, I feel like if he wanted to read it, he would have sent an audio file. But he was just like, you read it. Like, okay. Yeah, if we want to... Oh, shit, that's already... It's still already 20 after 11. If you want to finish off Candy, just do talking points. Yeah, okay. So... yeah. I would highly, highly, highly recommend that all of you read this entire thing for yourself. But basically he goes over a lot of kind of the points that he was trying to make with the epilogue. I'm trying to scan this. I intended to write down bullet points, but like today it was just a complete fucking write-off. Yeah, he goes over bullet points of what his kind of purpose was with the epilogues, and honestly, basically everything that he points out here are things that I've seen people talking about deriving from it in like fandom discussion and stuff. And the biggest thing that he kind of talks about through this whole thing, I'll just talk about what certain words mean and, you know, twist, kind of breaking down the meanings of things and breaking down the structure of how we tell stories. Essentially, the whole this is a call to action for fandom to take over thing was definitely intentional. And just skimming this last paragraph. So I'm going to read the last part because this is the part that's actually gotten the most discussion. I'll probably die before its planned end date. Jeez. Okay. So, yeah, he talks about this. Okay. Because he starts kind of summarizing things a little bit here. I also think many of the negative feelings the story creates isn't just an urgent prompt for the reader to imagine different ideas or ways to resolve the new narrative dilemmas. It's also an opportunity for people to discuss any of the difficult content critically, and for fandom in general to continue developing the tools for processing the negative emotions art can generate. Sorting that out has to be a communal experience, and it is an important part of the cycle between creating and criticizing art. I think not only can creators develop their skills to create better things by practicing taking certain risks, fandom is something which can develop better skills as well. Skills like critical discussion, dealing constructively with negative feelings resulting from the media they consume, interacting with each other in more meaningful ways, and trying to understand different points of view outside of the factions within fandom that can become very hardened over time. Fandoms everywhere tend to get bad reputations for various reasons, maybe justifiably, but I don't see why it can't be an objective to try and improve fandom, just as creators can improve their work. And I think this can only happen if now and then fandoms are seriously challenged by being encouraged to think about complex ideas and made to feel difficult emotions. I believe when art creates certain kinds of negative feelings in people, it can lead to some of the most transformative experiences art has to offer. But it helps to be receptive to this idea for these experiences to have a positive net effect on your life and your relationship with art. So now I'm looking to all of you in the matter of where to go next. Wherever the most conscientious and invested members of fandom want to drive this universe, as well as the standards by which we engage with media in general, that will be the direction I follow. So, it's kind of big. So essentially he's saying more bluntly, like, if the epilogues didn't make it clear enough, yes, I am looking for fandom to pick up and run with this. Yes, I am looking to the fandom for direction. Which is very exciting. yeah, some of the wording has a couple folks unhappy. But I mean, I don't know. I'm grabbing a net positive from this. Although, where is it? So, first he says, there was no immediate announcement for follow-up content, and I'm not announcing anything here yet either. Yet. Or, where is it? Yeah. Off-ramp. For those inclined to believe the first 7 acts of Homestuck were perfectly sufficient. The first 7? Like, what? God. But yeah, I'm sure there's like a shitload more to talk about with this. But again, we're here to finish off Homestuck Epilogues, and my brain is like, I don't know if my brain is really in the place to be parsing 2,500 words without literally reading them all over again, which I do need to just give this a second read anyway. But yeah, so that's where that's at. I'd really encourage you all to read through the whole thing at some point, or listen to it being read in the podcast. It is at almost exactly the 1 hour mark, I have been told, that they start reading this. Okay. Coming soon to Crunchyroll.com. Oh, God. Okay. So, it's time to fucking finish this shit. It's been, okay, so, how many fucking months? Okay. April, May, June, July was at camp, August. Total 4 fucking months it took to stream this whole goddamn thing. Ugh. Alright. Final nail in this coffin. Let's finish these last few chapters. It's Obama time. Indeed. Okay. 39. On the other side of the continent, somewhere along the border between the human and troll kingdoms, Dave and Jade navigate a densely jungled region. Though they're high-ranking members of the Resistance, they aren't decked out in the full military regalia associated with their positions. They're in camo fatigues, Dave sporting a patchwork of bright and dark reds, Jade in blacks and black and grays. This is the designated attire for those on scouting and reconnaissance missions, which is the nature of their current expedition. Am I gonna read the epilogues again after the next Homestuck reread? Oof. Well, I never intended to, honestly. I intended for this to be it. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see how I feel about it then. I mean, it took an entire fucking year to stream all of Homestuck the first time that I streamed it. So maybe in a year from now, I'll be up for the refresher, you know? And also because I think it would be really interesting to see how these read and how it feels reading them immediately after having read the entire comic over again. Because there was definitely a lot of separation between finishing the comic and then reading all of this the first time, like now reading it. So, like, for example, I found the ending of Homestuck, like Act 7 and the credits, a lot more, like, satisfying feeling after having read the entire comic without any breaks. So, I'm kind of interested, or, you know, interested to see what different things would jump out to the forefront in terms of noticing different things in the epilogues, having, you know, while reading them immediately after finishing the comic versus with that separation, because maybe different facts would jump out, maybe other questions would come up, right? Oh, you thought in the beginning I said I would. Yeah, I'm I'm on the fence about it. I'm gonna say probably not, but we'll see. Oh my god. Why can't Jade just shrink her entire army to be baby? I mean, theoretically, she could do something of the sort. Mass bimboification? How is shrinking her entire army to be baby mass bimboification? That's like mass infantilization? Jade has shrunk planets. This is nothing. Gamzee's religion was bimboification. Oh my god. Gamzee's religion was like yeah, I guess that was something akin to that. Jade wouldn't do that because of the mass bimboification of Earthsea. Oh, I see. Mm-hmm. The orders came from Commander Vantus himself. This underdeveloped part of the border, mostly uninhabited for many miles, was unspeakably critical to the rebellion, according to the commander. When pressed on it, he claimed the reasons needed to remain classified for now. Dave and Jade suspect the real reason is that Karkat can't bear to put them in harm's way, risking their heroic deaths. But they've decided to do him the professional courtesy of believing his story. The way they see it, he's finally earned a little respect by now. Besides, there's some fun to be had out here, away from the fog of war. Just like the good old days, during their archaeological expeditions in search of shitty liberties. Tiny rocket ship, tiny itty bitty Jade. Jade flicks Jade into the sun with her finger, just death. Oh, Karkat, you soft bitch. Oh yeah, Karkat was just like made up a fake mission to protect his friends because, yeah. Karkat has a lot of emotions, okay? What if she didn't die, though? 10,000 years of being burned alive in the sun. Yeah. That sounds unpleasant. Oh, that's Aleph. I don't think that they were talking about shipping. Or maybe I'm not. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's happening in there. Where was I? They fly side by side just above the thick jungle canopy, sweeping the horizon with sharp eyes. I think I see another one. Oh, snap. Dave squints. Sure enough, there does appear to be a large, rusted arm holding a torch, blurred by JPEG artifacts and covered in vines, poking out just above the canopy. It's 2 or 3 miles off to the west. You're right. Another shitty liberty. Good eye, Jade. Dave takes a picture with his phone, then updates his report containing a comprehensive account of the locations of every ancient Statue of Liberty his alternate timeline adult self once distributed all over this world as some sort of ironic avant-garde goof. He spent a lot of time on Earthsea wondering when adult Dave got around to doing which specific legendary exploits in the pre-flood period of this planet, when it was in the old solar system. So much time, in fact, that he turned into an adult Dave himself. Was he the age he is now when he scattered these liberties in one of the boldest postmodernist endeavors in human history? The thought is sobering. He can't help but feel how appropriate it is that about 5,000 years later, his work is being curated and appreciated by yet another adult Dave. Who better for the task? Perspective AO3 tags of this alternate ending for the epilogues? Ant-Man Than. Oh, Jesus. Ooh, that video essay sounds really good. Yes, I am interested in that video essay. Jade readies another tactical bundle to be deployed inside the Distant Liberty. It includes an efficient pack of capture log cards containing tracking tech. Wow. I gotta restart that sentence. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'd really enjoy that link. Jade readies another tactical bundle to be deployed inside the Distant Liberty. It includes an efficient pack of capture log cards containing tracking technology, military equipment, and powerful explosives. In the event this region becomes another front of the war, the commander wants as many shitty liberties as possible seeded with provisions useful to the rebellion, including the ability to detonate them at any time so that they may serve as traps. Dave wonders if his other self ever imagined they'd be used this way. He's sure adult Dave would have approved, being a fellow freedom fighter himself. It's too perfect, actually. Deploying a bunch of shitty liberties as bombs in service of a kind of liberty that is entirely unshitty. It makes him wonder if his other self on some level knew they would be used for this purpose one day. The thought of his double selfless sacrifice against clown tyranny makes him feel so proud he wipes away a small tear forming at the edge of his eye. Shitty liberty anti-fascist action. Icon. Fucking iconic. Absolutely. Old age has made him emotional. It didn't used to be like this. Gotta keep it together, he thinks. Focus on the mission. Then he notices something. Just below him, to the east a bit. A lumpy part of the jungle where the canopy bulges upwards slightly in an uneven, somewhat angular way. It suggests a rigid structure beneath the overgrowth. Something man-made. Another liberty, perhaps? No, the structure is different, more compact. Oh. Excuse me. More likely a ruined building from an ancient Earth city. It seems to call to him. Yo, Jade, why don't you go ahead and rig that liberty? I'll be right there. I want to check something out down here first. What is it? I don't know, probably nothing. Some ancient bullshit tucked away in the fucking jungle. Doesn't hurt to be thorough. Okay, Dave. Be careful. Yeah. I love you. I love you too. Those are the last fucking words to each other. God. Jade swoops closer, gives him a kiss, then spins around and flies off to the distant shitty liberty. Dave watches his wife go, her tail protruding through the rear of her camo pants, swishing back and forth with a sense of unrestrained affection for her husband. He's a lucky man, he tells himself. He knows this. Before any decades-old doubts can resurface to haunt him, he dives through the canopy in search of the ruins. Those reservations, the tense feelings in his chest, that's all in the past for him. He loves his beautiful doggy wife more than anything in the world, and that's all there is to say on the matter. Which means that is not all there is to say on the matter. Because Dave. Oh god, I can see Obama's name at the bottom of the page. Okay. The ruins are so overgrown with vines and the thick trunks of creeping trees, he can't make out the shape of the building. He can barely see an inch of exposed surface, but something is clearly there. He flies around the perimeter, pushing leaves and branches out of his way. Here's something. An old window, grand in design, but broken, busted in by a huge branch that extends in deep inside from years of growth. It's dark inside, hot and musty. He activates a small, military-issue flashlight. Bugs scatter and fly about. He scans the boundaries of the room, shining the light around. There are unrecognizably ancient, moldy paintings and frames hanging on the wall, and yet the wall seems to have no corners. He knows what this room is. He's seen it before in films, under much better repair than this. He's standing in the Oval Office of the White House. Plant life is covering everything, but all the fixtures are there. Moss is consuming the big desk. That flowering mass of thorny vines is where the couch would be. And over there is something he doesn't quite recognize. It doesn't seem to fit in. He steps closer to investigate, wiping away the layers of moss and dirt to reveal a surface he most certainly does recognize. It's a transportalizer. Dave doesn't waste any time. You don't find something like this in the Oval Office and start agonizing over whether or not to use it. He steps on the platform, and in a blink his surroundings are completely different. The centuries of overgrowth are gone, and he appears to be in some sort of crypt, boxed in by walls of smooth golden stone. At the far side of the room, something is hanging on the wall, encased in a sort of display. It's a mounted god-tier costume, about the size an adult male would wear. He recognizes the symbol. It's the same one Jake used to wear when they were teens. It is the symbol for hope. He steps towards the costume, hears a click under his shoes. He looks down and discovers he's standing on a large button, which has just become illuminated under the pressure of his feet. The button bears a strange, angular symbol he doesn't recognize, but before he can study it, something directly in front of him draws his attention. Thousands of bright particles swarm from an unseen origin and coalesce into a solid, luminous figure in the shape of a tall man. The radiance of the holographic image diminishes to reveal a man in a suit, with a strikingly recognizable face. Dave draws in a sharp breath and clutches his chest. Why didn't Jade approach Dave and Karkat in the Meet timeline? She did. She did in the Meet timeline as well. I just, they got caught up in the campaign and nothing happened of it. Mr. Obama. Oh God. I guess it's time for me to just really grab the reins on what seems to be my personal life mantra at this point and just say fuck it and dive into this. Please keep in mind I have not heard Obama speak in a very long time. Oh God, there's too much pressure. Oh God, I hate the pressure of actually having to fucking sound like someone. Ugh. You could break and let me listen to... Sorry, I was Googling things. When you missed that voice. You could break now and let you listen to Obama for a sec. Honestly? Yeah, I'm gonna take a few minutes to, actually figure out what I'm supposed to fucking sound like. So... Okay, give me a minute to figure out what the fuck Obama sounds like. Yes, I was looking up the Obama text-to-speech. It is out there. It does exist. Yes, that is the one I was looking at. Phoenix. Excuse me. I'm tired. Okay. yeah, so I'm gonna take a minute to listen to some Obama, and then we'll see how their reading goes. Okay. Hello. I am back. It's time for me to just, do this. Hello, Mr. Strider. I've been waiting a long time for you to show up. Dave's jaw hangs open. The legend has been confirmed, as well as several key headcanons of his. I love the fact that, like, in order to get the context for this line, you need to have read Meat first. Without thinking, he drops to one knee and bows his head. Mr. President, it's an honor, sir. President Obama laughs amiably and gestures with one hand for Dave to rise. Come on now, Dave. We can't be having that. I'm nobody's king. I'm a democratically elected representative who took an oath to serve his country and his people. People like you, Dave. If anything, I should be the one bowing. How am I doing? Please give me feedback. Oh, I watched one 5-minute YouTube video of Obama speech highlights. That was my research, because I didn't want to hold things up for too long. Dave says nothing, at a loss for how to respond to such soft-spoken words of wisdom and humility. He idles for a moment, seemingly waiting for Obama to follow through with his promised act of deference. I'm not gonna bow, man. I was just pulling your leg. Oh, okay. I just want to talk to you for a little while. Is that all right? Or do you have somewhere you need to be? Oh, no. No, sir, I don't have anywhere to... I mean, yes, sir, it's more than all right. It's such an honor to... What I mean is... Fuck. Mr. President, what I mean is I'm a huge fan of yours, and I hope this doesn't sound fucked up, but on some level I feel like I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. I know, Dave. Never heard it better. Thank you. Okay. Obama offers a warm smile. He looks down, adjusting the cuffs of his holographic suit with the casual manner of a skilled statesman. It's the body language of a man getting down to business. Now, you probably weren't aware of this, but I'm familiar with the work you've done for your country in the past. For the whole planet, actually. Before you moved it, that is. You knew about him? Or, I mean, me? Oh, yes. Most people thought I was gone, but I was keeping an eye on events. Wouldn't miss it for anything. Where did you go? I was doing what you did back then, when the world needed you. I was doing what you're doing now, under the same circumstances. I was answering the call. I went about it in a way no one at the time could understand. You see, Dave, no one can really see the big picture. That's what real leadership is all about. Looking at the big picture, seeing the long road ahead, making the hard choices for the greatest good. Not just decisions that lead to a better tomorrow, or to make sure the next year is better than the last, or even the next decade. You have to think about the next century, the next millennium. Sometimes you may even have to leave people wondering if you've forsaken them entirely, because your real duty is to concern yourself with the final destination of the planet, to make sure it stays safe along the hard journey and ends up being the best home it can be for both the human race and the many newcomers to our world. Doing the right thing often means walking a long and lonely road, Dave. But I'm guessing you've already figured this out. I guess so. Dave pauses, pensively fiddling with the pockets of his camo pants. He has so many questions for the ex-president. He braces himself and presses ahead. If you don't mind my asking, sir, I thought you died. Well, I mean, I know you did, where I'm from, with the meteors and all. But from what I know about the history of the flooded Earth timeline, you served your 2 terms and then just a little while after that they say you disappeared. So, you didn't die? Oh, pardon me. Oh, I certainly died, Dave. Just not when they said I did. Like I said, I was just answering the call. Other brave heroes like you stepped in to fill the void I left behind, as I knew you all would. And some say the death of those heroes was in vain, or waste, since the human race was wiped out anyway, just like they say my supposed death was a waste, a loss that humanity couldn't endure. But they were wrong. Those heroes were fighting for something, even if all you manage to accomplish is leaving behind a legacy to inspire others in the future who need that hope to go on. Even if one of those in the future you end up inspiring is an alternate history version of yourself, Dave. Haven't you been improved by the knowledge of what you grew up to be in my timeline? Can you really say you'd be what you are today without the memory of him? Or the memory of me, for that matter? Dave considers the question seriously. He's transfixed by Obama's kind gaze and can't seem to look away. There are times when he feels relieved by the lifestyle decisions he made as a kid to wear a pair of aviator sunglasses at all times, no matter what. No, but that's all good and totally inspiring and all, but sorry if this is nosy, but if you didn't die when you disappeared, then how did you die? Most of that is classified, Dave. Rest assured, it was a heroic death that took place many years after my disappearance, upon which rested the fate of Paradox Space itself. There were loose ends to tie up, baggage from my distant past. You know how it is. Troubles from your childhood tend to follow you, even after you move into the White House. Believe me. Yeah, I guess so. What happened to you as a kid? Or is that classified too? No, it's not classified, because I never even told the government about it. Can't classify what you don't know. Damn. This is very surreal. I'm just gonna cut into this and be like, the first time I read this through, I was flipping my fucking shit and thinking, oh my god, I can't believe this is real. Second time through, reading it out loud, entirely different experience. It's a little, almost an out-of-body experience. Because, what the Anyway. Just figured I'd say something since I haven't actually put any commentary up in a while. Making you go ape feral. I know, it's just like, God, fuck. They just, Obama's there, and then, it just keeps getting weirder. It just keeps getting wilder. When I was a boy living in Hawaii, on my 13th birthday, I was visited by a mysterious stranger. He was an older man with a mustache. Kind of a corny, old-fashioned adventuring type. He tried to convince me we were related. Of course, I thought he was full of shit. To this day, I'm not sure about that. Maybe he was. I didn't think much of his tall tale at the time, but what did pique my interest was his story. He was voyaging all over the Pacific looking for a mysterious island which supposedly had all the answers he'd spent his whole life searching for. During his travels, he set up outposts all over the ocean to help with his search, such as one near where I lived as a boy. The outpost had a laboratory, an archaeological dig site, a network of underground tunnels, the works. One time, I snuck in there and did some exploration of my own. Somewhere in the maze of underground ruins, I found a transporter pad, just like the one that brought you here. It sent me to a new realm, a place they called the medium. I wish they hadn't made any reference at all to the cursed documents. Because, Dave does his best not to show it, but his heart is racing faster with every word Obama says. His mind races too, with more thoughts that he can keep track of. Thoughts of affirmation, exhilaration. I knew it, his brain repeats to itself. The sense of vindication is indescribable. Others were there, kids my age. I made friends that lasted a lifetime. Over the years, I would return there now and then, when I felt I was needed. I made one final trip there after serving my terms in office. As I said, I kept an eye on Earth events, but I knew I could never return. Not with the work that still needed to be done. But before my heroic death, I made sure to have my affairs in order to fulfill certain cosmic necessities of the future, such as our meeting here today, Dave. Holy shit. Was that a reference? You block them out? Yeah, the whole thing about Jake English, like Grandpa Harley, or like Jake Harley, Grandpa Harley, being Obama's father, is a thing that is in the cursed documents. You didn't think Obama was mentioned? Oh, well, no, that... Unfortunately, I do remember enough to know that was definitely in there. I capture-logged a ghost imprint of my brain. You remember how to do that, don't you? I stored the imprint in this holographic projection device. You see, Dave, it was critical that I had a chance to speak with you, but only when the time was right. Only once you had made it all this way, standing ready to defend the future of Earthsea. Tears are welling up in the corners of Dave's eyes. There go the fucking waterworks again. He says another quiet prayer of gratitude for the shades John gave him. He's got to keep it together. He tells himself there's nothing wrong with crying. Of course there isn't. Just not in front of Obama. He's got to keep it together. He sniffs in deeply with a theatrical stoicism and crosses his arms. But on the exhale, a small, choked sob escapes. He seals his lips tight, but his mouth quivers and puckers under the impossible pressure of restraint. God, this is so fucking melodramatic. Oh. Every once in a while, I just gotta stop and be like, God, I really am doing an Obama impression right now, aren't I? I'm doing an Obama impression, and I'm doing it because I'm reading fucking Homestuck. You'd honestly cry also. That's valid, Aleph, you're so fucking valid. I know what you're going through. There's a lot to be emotional about in these trying times. Hey, why don't we take a walk? You'll have a chance to collect yourself. And there's something I'd like you to see. Obama waves his hand toward a wall, and a secret compartment opens up with the traditional stone-grinding noise to be heard in any crypt worth exploring. He leads the way into a dark corridor. They walk for some time, only one pair of solid feet making audible footsteps that echo ahead into the darkness. The light from Obama himself serves as Dave's torch. Soon, he feels calm enough to continue the conversation. Homestuck really be like that? Yep. Mr. President, you said I reminded you of the adult Dave from your timeline. That's right. So wait, how did you know adult Dave if you were from the original timeline? Dave, come on now. Surely you must know I'm no stranger to timeline shenanigans myself. Oh yeah, of course, what was I thinking? Anyway, no offense, but are you really sure I remind you of him? There are a lot of times where I don't feel like I'm at all living up to that guy's example. A lot of times I feel like I'm just going along with the shit. Like, my buddy organizes a badass rebellion, and I'm just like, duh, yeah, alright. Sounds cool. Guess I'll scout around the jungle and rig a bunch of shitty statues of liberty to explode if those are the orders. Rig the what? To do what now? Oh, yeah, maybe never mind that. It's just a stupid mission I'm on, and TBH, Karkat probably just sent us on it so we didn't get ourselves killed stupidly. Obama nods solemnly at this clarification. His expression makes it clear that this type of executive decision, that this is the type of executive decision he understands all too well. Okay, big old Dave rant. I'm gonna drink some water. Okay. But compared to that guy, I apparently turned out to be, I don't know, I feel like a lesser version of myself somehow. Not lesser, maybe, just like, I somehow ended up as the version of me who didn't stay as true to myself as I could have. Like, I entered this world already considered a god, already famous, already celebrated as a genius. What was there left to achieve? I still did a lot of incredible and stupid shit that I guess I'm pretty proud of. I don't know. Something feels hollow about a lot of what I've done the last bunch of years. Or I guess about a lot of stuff in general. It's not just accomplishments or stuff like that. It goes deeper, I think. Like, Karkat managed to rise to the occasion and defend his people, but I hardly had anything to do with that. It was mostly him. He's turned into something pretty incredible, really. You still care a lot about Karkat, don't you? Well, yeah? Of course I do, he's my friend. Are you sure that's all he is, Dave? I love my wife. Jade has been the best thing that's ever happened to me. The day I decided to marry her and, like, get off the fence, stop insulting her by acting so casual about it like our thing was no big deal. She deserved me being all the way into it. She deserves everything, and I know this is all true. But, here come the tears again. More than a drop or two at the corners of his eyes. He blinks and they run down his face, racing beneath the lower rim of his shades faster than he can turn away. He's losing control now. His cool is a distant memory, like a dream he's struggling to remember. Obama puts a flickering hand on his shoulder. Dave feels the dense light of the hologram buzzing through the fabric of his clothes, grazing his skin. It tingles like mild static electricity. My bro died a long time ago. Fucking hung himself for some damn reason. For a little while, I had a bro. I could talk to him about stuff. I did a little bit, but I don't know if we ever got that deep into whatever. You can always talk to me about anything, Dave. Yeah, thanks, man. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I miss him a lot. I think Dirk would be proud if he could see how you turned out. In fact, I know it. No, I mean, yeah, I do kind of miss him too. I try not to think about him much because, well, that's a whole thing. What I meant was, I miss Karkat. God, this hurts. It does fucking hurt. God. Dave falls to his knees. He slides his open palms up beneath his shades and covers his face. He weeps quietly as Obama looks down on him, smiling patiently, understandingly. Yeah, it hurts even more because the whole everything surrounding the scene is just like so exaggerated and melodramatic. I think I messed up. I didn't do the right thing a long time ago, and now even though I love Jade, I feel like I'm living a lie. I try not to even think of any of this stuff, but now that I'm letting myself not only think it, but say it, I feel like I'm panicking. I don't know what to do. He's hyperventilating now, but catches himself. He has to calm down. This is no way to behave in front of a president. He collects himself, starts breathing steadily, and looks up. Mr. President, can you keep a secret? Yes, I can, Dave. These days, keeping secrets is practically all I ever do down here. I think... He runs a hand through his hair and looks back. I think I'm gay. Obama purses his lips in that trademark way of his. Thoughtful, serious, contemplative. He nods slowly, letting the silence grow, as if considering precisely how to deliver the most perfect arrangement of words any man has uttered in human history. Over the course of our lives, we all tend to believe we're a lot of different things. One year, you're this. Another, you're that. Later in life, you start pushing 40 and start worrying you've been believing the wrong thing about yourself the whole time. I've had my share of doubts about all that, just like any other man. And I've had plenty of the same kind of struggles as you, Dave. Wait, you... Obama nods, smiles wistfully. Dave arches his eyebrows high above his shades. They stare at each other, and in the look they exchange, they seem to say all that needs to be said between two grown men on the matter. You need to... Okay. That's fair. Good night, Aleph. Have a good sleep. Sweet dreams of Dave and Obama. Identity, sexuality, gender, all that stuff is about as illusory as I am, standing before you here. Is this the real me? Who can really say? Depends on what real means, or what I even mean when I say me. For that matter, are you even the real you? Haven't you been asking yourself that question one way or another all your life? Yeah. Believing is the key to understanding the truth underlying the words, the truth underlying the ideas they represent, and the truth underlying who we are as individuals. The power of belief, the power of hope, that's what endows that which is intangible, ephemeral, or uncertain with a sense of reality. It brings focus to the insubstantial. The mirages of the mind, the multiplicity of what is possible, of what could be, and what isolates it, concentrates it, to turn it into what it is. And the result of that, Dave, is what we call truth. Dave is still crying, but he doesn't care anymore. The tears are flowing down his face, but he won't look away. He's perfectly unashamed of his vulnerability at this moment. The only thing he knows is he needs to listen carefully to every precious syllable, to listen with his ears, his heart, and his entire being. Oh my goodness, I'm yawning a bunch today. I should sleep. I'm definitely going to bed right after this. But you know what? I'm soaking this up. This is, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to enjoy this. It's incredibly absurd, and I'm just going to enjoy the experience. We're almost done this chapter. Goddamn. The truth of oneself can be very specific if one wills it to be. Statements such as, I am gay, I am straight, I am a man, I am a woman. These are statements about an individual that gain strength through the power of belief we invest in them. But there is another, more generalized truth about a person that can emerge when such conviction is absent. When the partitions of the mind dissolve and the boundaries between everything you are now and everything you might have become begin to fade away. Oh, you're talking about that ultimate self stuff. I am indeed, Dave. Wow, haven't heard about that in so long. Rose used to talk about it all the time. Dirk would rant about it a lot too. He sure did. Wait, you mentioned Dirk earlier. Did you, actually know him? Oh, we've met on a few occasions. I'm just your problem. You know what that makes me think of? I have on my MP3 player from fucking 2012, I think. A cover of I'm Just Your Problem where it's shit, who's it singing to who? I think it's Vriska singing to Aradia. It's very gay. Oh, seems more like a Vriska Kanaya song to you. Hope being about illusions. That is kind of a running theme with the aspect of hope in Homestuck. Yeah. The part that hurts me because you realize what Dirk fucking did. Yeah. Yeah. That's Dave blinks. How is that possible? He killed himself. Did he now? Are you saying that's not what happened? I'm saying, you know as well as I, that it's awfully hard to pin down exactly what happened to whom, depending on which frame of reference we might be talking about. Wow, so I learned a lot from him. Met up with him as a young man, as I was just beginning to explore the wonders of my session. He taught me about many things. Combat, philosophy, life, love. Love? Hold on, are you saying that... Now, Dave, I can't go around disclosing everything under the sun. Plenty of this is still under the umbrella of executive privilege. Loose lips sink ships, as they say. Obama winks again. Dave has actually lost track of how many times he's winked so far. Interesting. I'm sorry I didn't treat you like a goddess like all your royal subjects do, coming straight out of Jake's mouth, thinking about Jane. After he leaves. I can kind of see that. Yeah. Oh, the cover that I have on my MP3 player, it's not the exact words. So it's like... Oh, no. It's Aradia singing to Vriska. Because it's... Right, that line replacement in the cover that I have, I think it's Broadway Aradia. But it's like, I'm sorry I don't treat you like your mind fang, like all the other stupid low bloods do. And it's like, ooh, and then it continues like, fuck, I've listened to it a bunch of times. Because it's, I haven't heard it in such a long time, but I still remember all the words. It's like, you know, sorry I don't treat you like your mind fang like all the other stupid low bloods do. You know, I'm made of icy metal and I'm still not cool enough for you. And then I think it goes into the chorus of I'm just your problem. And it's like, ooh. Yeah. It's good. It's a good cover. You gotta... Yeah, I think it's Broadway Aradia. I have a few... Okay, now... Fuck, now I have to find it. Okay. It's on... It's on YouTube. Yeah, it is on YouTube. Let me see. I know Tindeck, right? It was uploaded on Tindeck. But now it's just, I can only find the YouTube. I can't find the original because it was on Tindeck. I love how it gets very gay at the end. It is super good. Let me pop that link in chat. Yeah, the end was very gay. So many lost Broadway Carcat songs. Yeah, like I have to wonder how many didn't make it to YouTube. Yeah, the gayness indeed. Wow. YouTube, the fucking like Google algorithm really has me pinned. I'm just looking at these recommended videos and I'm like, God, yeah. If I go down just a little, you will see that I have listened to this and listened to it a million times. I know. Perfect Poke Rap, Splatoon concerts, a bunch of dangerously funny videos because I watch this shit. This fucking person makes the best piano covers of Splatoon music. And this fucking Off the Hook medley is so good. I've listened to it a million times. Yeah, Lumi Radio, of course. Ave Mariam by Broadway Carcat, which, odd, you introduced me to that song. I had not heard that song before, despite the fact that I was so sure I'd heard, like, everything Broadway Carcat had ever done. But I hadn't heard this one. And you introduced me to it, and I'm very glad, because it's super fucking good. I don't know where these ones come from. It's probably just because I watched the Steven Universe trailer, so it's like, oh, you want cartoons. I'm surprised there's nothing to do with Obama in here, because I just watched that Obama video on my phone. But yes, Ave Mariam by Broadway Carcat. Beautiful thing. Okay, let's get back to this. Listen to the Perfect Poke Rap as a reward for beating the Homestuck Epilogues. Sure, I'll end of stream music today will be the Perfect Poke Rap, and hopefully I don't get fucking copyright striked. I mean, I shouldn't. I don't think I should for the Adventure Time song either. I have to be really careful with that stuff, because if I get too many copyright hits, it's part of the terms of use for the website that they can just close down your account without telling you if you get too many copyright hits. But no, I think Unraveled should be fine. It's not like they're playing the original theme song. Okay, we're almost done this fucking chapter. God, we're so close. Okay. So, Dave just found out that Obama and Dirk probably dated at some point. Right. So, somehow he met you, and trained you and stuff, and talked about the ultimate self. I remember my Dirk would go off the deep end about that stuff sometimes, and maybe it made him fucking snap, because then he just offed himself, and that was that. But Rose used to talk about it too, probably even more. But one day she just stopped and never mentioned it again. Do you know what, like, happened to her? Both of them are derivatives, so they can't copyright, and they didn't get strikes, so it's good. Yeah, it's just like, I mean, what's happened to a few of my videos before with, like, copyrighted music is that it will, like, mute when it has like bots that detect like, I don't know, the fucking sound waves or whatever. And it'll just, when it, from the beginning of the clip that it thinks is copyrighted, it'll mute the full half hour after that if in the archived stream on the Twitch page. And that's how I know I've been hit before. But I have never received like a formal notice, but I've had I've had a number of my videos muted like that before. Nothing on YouTube, because I generally cut videos out when I post the YouTube videos. Even the Homestuck music, I cut it out. But yeah. So yeah, like it should be fine. But I'm always a little worried after I like actually looked it up and read the fucking policy. I was like, oh dear. She settled happily into the specific. That's her path now. All of you have embraced that life in this safely sequestered version of planet Earth. All of you until now, Dave. This is why you're here. I believe you're ready to wake up. Yeah, at the end of the stream, it won't like mute the video or anything. But yeah, I've never received any formal emails about copyright strikes, so I don't know whether or not it muting it counts? I don't know. Right, then there's all this fucking ultimate self, blah 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 blah. Dave realizes suddenly that they've stopped at a dead end of the passage. Obama holds up his arm and points his palm toward the wall. The wall lifts with the comforting sound of ancient stones grinding against each other. The sliding panel reveals a recess, and in the recess stands a robot. It's a gleaming, polished silver replica of Dave, but without shades. It stands totally still, unpowered. Dave struggles to make sense of what he's looking at. Now, look. A human body, even one that's been elevated to god-tier status, cannot withstand the stresses put on it by the awesome power of the ultimate self. You'd quickly become sick and wither away. We can't have that. So before I died, I made sure to create this brand new body for you. I have to admit, it's some of my finest work. A real beauty. It should serve you well in your new life. A life where the world will need you more than ever, Dave. Not only this world, but the future of reality. If this sounds confusing, don't worry. You'll understand everything once I help you ascend. So what do you say? At the end of the day, this is a choice that belongs to you. Are you ready to accept your destiny, Dave Strider? Oh, you thought that Obama wasn't real and that Dirk programmed it to convince Dave to join him. Yes, that is a very, very plausible theory. It finally catches up with him, what's taking place here. Dave is sobbing loudly now, beside himself with feelings of joy, a sort of existential relief, and a true sense of purpose. He takes only a moment to decide. Not to weigh the merits of decision. He understands now that the decision was already made the second he first laid eyes on the former president. He pauses only to savor this perfect moment. Yes, absolutely. I've never been more ready for anything in my life, Mr. President. How does Dirk survive being an ultimate self in his flesh body? Is it the heart powers? Yeah, that's not really answered. It could potentially have something to do with his class spec specifically, but I'm not sure. Obama nods once, curtly, and his smile dissolves into a serious look as he closes his eyes. He extends his arm and slowly pushes his hand through Dave's forehead. The energy from the dense light form crackles and sends waves through the air like ripples through a pond. It happens suddenly, a shock of white light completely enveloping his and Dave's bodies, intense bands and lashes of pure hope radiating from their silhouettes. Dave's eyes widen, his mouth opens as if to scream, but he doesn't make a sound. Infinite experience flows through his consciousness, an unimpeded torrent of raw potentiality. He sees everything. The roads not taken, the lives not lived, the thoughts, desires, fears, all unacted upon. The doomed Daves, the Dave sprites, the Dave pettas, life with Jade, life with Carcat, life with both, life with neither. It's like soaring through the clouds at supersonic speed, too quickly to make out the shape of any single puffy nimbus, like a breakneck jaunt through Skya. Huge clouds rushing by, small ones, clouds with visions, empty clouds, white clouds, then a great dark one. And then, the briefest possible glimpses, much too fleeting to be noticed, of Dirk. And then nothing. It all stops abruptly, and Dave collapses to the ground, dead. I think it's his class back in his weird relationship with Canon in the comic. So, this may or may not lend credence to the theory that this Obama hologram is a creation of Dirk. Or a creation of Dirk's, like, that he made. Obama is holding his hand up, and floating just above his palm is Dave's ascended essence. It flickers wildly in his hand like a little kernel sprite. Obama holds it up to his face and blows it away like dandelion fluff. It floats lazily into the chest of the robot, and with that, Obama disappears, leaving the corridor in total darkness and silence. Seconds pass. And then a minute. And then time seems to stop altogether, as if the aspect itself has suspended its forward motion, bowing before the unprecedented transformation taking place. It defers to its greatest night, risen anew. With a deep, reverberating electric hum, the robot's eyes light up deep red, bright enough to light up the entire passage. Its face comes to life. Its mouth, oddly pliable for a metal surface, begins to smile a little, and then, very broadly. The robot steps out of its recess and points its head downward, the searing red beams from its eyes spotlighting Dave's crumpled torso. The robot, Davebot, shakes his head slowly. The doubts, the confusion, the insecurities of the man lying here all died along with his body. Davebot smoothly reaches down, lifts the shades off the corpse, and puts them on his face. It's about fucking time. Whew. Why would a Hope player be able to manipulate soul essence like a Heart player? Yeah, I hadn't thought about that before. It just, because I know, I'm trying to think of examples from the comic, right? Like, the only other similar situation I can think that had nothing to do with Dirk was when Arania, as the Sylph of Light, brought Jake, the hero of Hope, to his full potential. But again, that was Arania to Jake, not Jake to Arania. Giving Dave's soul the hope to persist after death. Determination. We don't even see what Davebot is even for at this point. What's he gonna do? That's the thing, right? And Davebot is in the Candy postscript, so we can talk a little bit more about that, or in the Meat postscript, so we can talk a little bit more about that when we read that, because I'm gonna do, when I finished Meat, I read both postscripts, because they were switched, right? So I'm going to do that again. We're going to take another look at the meat postscript immediately after finishing Candy and kind of parse it out with Candy fresh on the brain. Okay, a martyr died instead. Fuck. Oh, we're gonna be way over time today, aren't we? Jake's ultimate power was a giant ball of light and a version of his boyfriend meant to beat up a girl who was mean to him. I mean, I don't think that's it. Jake's, while it was his ascension, his like full ascension, so to speak, his full form of the fully ascended hero of hope, was the power for his beliefs to make things real. It gave even more strength to his belief because, you know, Dirk Jake as a semi y'all words tangible as Brain Ghost Dirk's existence as a semi-tangible being was as a result of his hope powers, but because they were not very strong, he was only semi-tangible. He wasn't a real thing, but the power of his belief just got ramped the fuck up, and that was kind of what his power was, for his wants and hopes and beliefs to be literal, real, physical, tangible things, as well as like the the rays of pure hope and light that disintegrated things. That was also part of that. I think that's pretty fucking cool, actually. But yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, that reminds me of like, you know, like all kinds of different, there's like a number of different like superhero characters whose powers and their strength and their use rely on their emotions. Like, I mean, okay, I grew up with the Teen Titans cartoon. So it specifically makes me think of Raven and Starfire. You know, Raven, whose powers depend on her calm and focus and emotional stability, whereas Starfire's powers depend on her like how powerful her emotions are and how strongly she is feeling. Is this analogy making sense? Because quite frankly, I can't remember how I was going to loop it back around to hope powers. Oh, God. I hope that made sense, because it made sense when I started talking, and then as I continued, I forget how I was going to loop it back to the beginning. Let me see. Oh, wait, Dirk's Robo Gang, complete with Prince Knight's Seer Trio, as we reunite Dirk with his usual robot sidekicks. Or is he just out to fuck shit? Yeah, DaveBot joins Alt Callie. That's what we see in the postscript. So we'll read the postscript soon. But we don't know why exactly DaveBot joins Callie. Yeah, and the whole plot between them is never shown as resolved, yeah. Aside from Rosebot and Radiant Solix and Right. Yeah, Terzi is on the ship with Dirk right now. Certain aspects are based in emotion, but they're handled differently. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have some water, and then we gotta get into a martyr died instead fuck. Because it's... it is 15 minutes of time, and I think we're going to go way over tonight. $40. From atop the tallest bell tower in the Carapace Kingdom, the sky looks like something painted by... Oh yeah, I forgot they... Y'all, for real? I don't think that's a very good analogy. Martyr said fuck still gets me. I know, right? I'm really looking forward to rereading this segment because I haven't reread it or been re-exposed to it since I read it the first time. And it's just like good. I really want to like talk about it and flesh it out. Where was I? Oh yes, I got distracted by the ableism in the first sentence. From atop the tallest bell tower in the Carapace Kingdom, the sky looks like something painted by a chaotic abstract artist. The fierce lights of war on the horizon stain the sunset in unnatural hues. Ultraviolet pigments of red and purple slash through the atmosphere in harsh, jagged strokes. The cracks in the sky above are a diseased shade of green, bright bolts receding like lightning in a storm. Dead Jade, host to the shrub spirit, floats at the apex of the tower. The blitzkrieg above makes a kaleidoscope of color between the black stripes on her tights. Aradia glances up to meet her, having left... Aradia glides up to... Wow, my brain, eh? Aradia glides up to meet her, having left Solix on the balcony. Above in the sky, a hole has opened up, one so big it fills the entire radius of her vision. Oh, that's very dramatic. The dead shrub says nothing. Aradia flits in front of her face and looks into her eyes. They're the same black as the vortex above, so absolutely dark that they reflect no light. I think I understand what's going on now. Do you? I mean, I think I understand what I was seeing. When I watched as everything broke apart and got swallowed up by the black hole. Which is where I ended up, too. That black hole. That's basically you, right? Yes. And when you speak of your brother, that's Lord English. Yes. And he's dead. Not just yet. Oh, then where is he? I see. Gonna keep us in cryptic suspense as usual, are we? Ha, that's fine. Yes, it is. I did think it was odd that we ended up in this timeline after all was said and done. Such a strange and unremarkable place to be after witnessing such awesome calamity. There's something... Aradia pinches her thumb and forefinger together. Off about this place. Just a little bit. Where's Dave? Well, maybe I'd know if I could actually make myself read meat. Oh, you skipped out on parts of meat. Yeah, it's the postscript for meat, which is technically the postscript for candy, but they flipped them. You read it all, but you also forgot all of it? Oh yeah, I forgot so much. Obama could make Dave's soul survive after death because he said so. Not actually send. That, yeah, I think I talked about it, right? I think I started talking about it and then I got distracted by thinking about other Hope players and how their powers worked in comparison to how that could potentially work for Obama. Fucking Obama. But yeah. Definitely could have something to do with his aspect. We don't know his class. So, because that's, you know, that's the thing that would kind of really clinch it, is what class did Obama have? That would kind of determine the method in which the hope powers are used, right? A Prince of Hope is going to be a lot different than a Sylph of Hope, for example. A Destroyer versus Creator classes. Yes, you would think so. Lesser beings have so much trouble perceiving divinity in the uncanny. Lesser? You have proven yourself a valuable servant and pleasant company. But yes, you are lesser. Haha, okay. Well, it could always be worse, I suppose. You said that we were the lucky ones, if I recall correctly. All in this place are luckier than those who are not, in a certain way. But what way is that? The people on this planet seem so... Well, I don't want to be mean, but is that the paradox of living in a utopia when everything is perfect and your every need is met? Is it natural for people to start crossing blades at imaginary enemies? I doubt that's what troubles you about this world. Oh? What you've just described is a state of empirical ennui resulting from the material circumstances here. But the material circumstances of this world have no objective existential value. This world, unlike the canonical horrors from which it is hermetically insulated, will always fail to meet the combined criteria for truth, relevance, and essentiality that would endow this realm with any real gravity. Its own naturally occurring supply of gravity, rather than the artificial supply I have given it. As such, what transpires here is characterized by experiential frivolity. Physically, it is cordoned off by the black hole's event horizon. It is safe, untouchable, inescapable. That sounds ominous. Well, that sounds ominous. It cannot be ominous because it cannot truly be anything with tangible significance. One could describe it as a phantasmal projection confined within my horizon. It was created by a choice that made it possible for that horizon to expand indefinitely, to consume indefinitely. And since that choice could not coexist with canon events, this place manifested here to support its consequences. If this world were capable of anything either essential, relevant, or true in some stable combination, then it would perpetuate a corrosive paradox. As such, insulation from what is out there, and the inescapable well it rests in, is what protects all it holds inside. And since I am the embodiment of the black hole in which it rests, I am the one protecting this world. What you meant is if Obama had a class different than Jake's, that could make other people's beliefs come true, or make people believe things that become true. Yes. Yeah. Then Dave's soul doing the thing just because Obama told him to would make sense. Yeah, that is a very good theory, yeah. I'm about to ask why the dead trolls ended up in candy. Yeah, so... Yeah, they all came through the black hole. I guess they were pulled there by Calliope's presence, since she's the embodiment of the black hole. Like, the black hole is her, so to speak. Why? If it's so irrelevant, what's the point? It is simply my duty to defend the innocent from destruction, degradation. It is simply my duty to defend the innocent from destruction, degradation, and dissolution. But there is more to consider than just my nature. As it happens, this projection within me serves as a stable conceptual foothold from which I can sense and resist another growing threat which is determined to jeopardize the canonical plane of reality. Ah yes, the prince. I still have no idea who he is. Not that I doubt you, really. We had a prince who was a huge jerk who destroyed everything he touched. Irritant. The prince I am referring to electively removed himself from this reality in order to strategically consolidate his power. He cannot threaten this world, and yet by sequestering himself elsewhere has become infinitely more dangerous. What makes him so dangerous? I mean, what exactly is it he can do which is more destructive than what I was seeing just before I came here? The cherub makes a rare physical gesture with her hands to begin framing her next statements. Aradia notes this and strives to listen more closely. Physical destruction is one thing. Obliteration of the entire canvas for all of reality over a given cosmic span is another. And yet there are even more insidious forms of destruction and subversion of life to consider, methods that are more difficult to grasp for those on your plane. Yes, I'm quite inferior, I know. But I'm also very curious. Can you try me? Of course. Let's begin by examining the nature of a story. Okay. It will be easier to do this if we have an example of a story to discuss. Some stories are impossibly long, but others can be quite short. Some can even be a few words. What's your favorite story? My favorite? I don't know how to answer that, really. Don't you like stories? Of course I do. But do you mean like a book? A movie? Anything. Pick literally any example you can think of. I feel this. Like, I don't know how to answer that. What do you mean by that? I still can't think of something. That's too many options. Recommended you Midnight Crew without playing any Homestuck songs. Damn. Pardon me, I'm just yawning again. Oh my goodness. Okay, there's a famous religious story from my planet about someone called the Signless, who I guess turned out to be my friend's ancestor, which is weird, but that's beside the point. Yes, I know of the tale. How would you tell his story if you were trying to be as brief as possible? Well, a religious martyr attempted to lead a rebellion, but he was killed in a horrible way and shouted a very loud, rude word in the process. Homestucks listen to a certain type of emo. That's good. Try making it shorter, though. Okay. A martyr tried to rebel, but he was killed horribly and then shouted a rude word. Shorter. Wow. A martyr rebelled but died and shouted rudely? Shorter. Oof. Okay, how's this? A martyr died and said fuck. Perfect. What is the point of this? To establish an extremely short narrative for certain illustrative purposes. I'm going to repeat your story to you, and I want you to listen carefully. A martyr died and said fuck. Okay, I listened. That's definitely the short story I just said. Yes. Now I'm going to repeat the story, but change the way I see it very slightly. Listen again carefully. A martyr died and said fuck. Yes, that was a little different. I'm not sure that I could describe how, though. It was pretty subtle. Yes. You noticed because I told you to pay attention for a difference. You noticed because you were alert to the fact that there was even something to notice at all. And if you had not been alert to the fact that something could be different about the nature of the voice telling your story, or to the fact that such differences had a certain significance, you likely would not have noticed. I see. Yes, I think you're right. But now imagine that I told your story in exactly the way I said. A martyr died and said fuck. But it was the first time you ever heard that story. Also imagine you couldn't see me and didn't even know I existed. And imagine you couldn't even hear the story I just told with your ears. It simply entered your awareness in some other manner, in a way that was impersonal. Almost like one of your thoughts speaking to you. So, what she's describing is what Dirk was doing to people in Meat. Okay. Picture that this is all you have ever known of this story, the only way it could ever occur to you that this story could be understood by another. And then one day, you meet me. You look me up and down and regard me as the discreet, specific individual that I am. And I decide to tell you this story again using my own voice. And it sounds exactly like this. A martyr died and said fuck. Huh. Does this change the way you perceive the story you were originally familiar with? I guess a little bit. It's certainly a different way of hearing it, but at least you didn't change any words, so I guess it's not all that different. Exactly. I didn't change any words, but then it was a very short story I told, wasn't it? Sure was. Now imagine it was much longer, and that was only the first line. That's easy to imagine. His was a long story. Come after heavily listening to Pierce the Veil, and then it recommended MCR. Yeah. Yeah, reading this first and then going to meet, like, I can't even fucking imagine that experience. You think it made Meat better? Not Dirk spoiled on what Dirk did, just that he did something. Yeah, I can imagine that, like, a lot of the foreshadowing bits here would make Meat a little more interesting to read. Yeah, because for me, reading Candy after, it was more the satisfaction of connecting the dots and, like, immediately knowing how they connect. Quite true. A story as short as the one we've been using cannot accomplish much when it comes to guiding and manipulating one's awareness and emotions. It is compact, ostensibly commanding a simple and meditative moment of reflection, as a short poem might. The narration it delivers is freighted with inference. It is a pattern imprinted upon the imagination, consisting solely of cognitive dark matter, or a sort of notional negative space. But longer stories have the power to draw consciousness into them. They possess arresting and hypnotic qualities which can only be used by their tellers to alter the awareness of the listener. Again, I'd like you to imagine this is the only way you've ever known this story, but then it continues. A martyr died and said fuck. His final howl of profanity reverberated through the ages. It inspired his devotees during the darkest times of a brutal regime. His lessons were guarded, kept secret, espoused in the shadows of tyranny. A vision of peace would inspire those who'd never conceived of it. And though his death was gruesome, it opened the world to a feeling of hope. This hope echoed through the ages. It gave his disciples the strength to persist as they perished in droves. It was the only light to shine on a dark planet for millions of sweeps. If you are the one so devoted to his teachings, who sees truth in his words, it may be said with some great authority that you are wrong. You are foolish to believe his lies. His martyrdom is false, his sacrifice hollow. Repent for your adherence to this delusion now, and perhaps leniency will be your reward. Oh, what just happened there? I brought to your attention that the story you were listening to had a speaker with a specific identity. And where there is an identity, there can also be an agenda. I gained the power to bend your consciousness to become more amenable to my narrative agenda by lulling you into a more receptive state through the established rhythm of the story's telling. This was only possible because you were not initially questioning the identity of the teller, or even questioning that there was an identity to consider. So this whole thing is just talking about the fact that it's kind of a big fuck you to the death of the author theory, and saying, like, every story has a teller with an identity and a perspective that they are telling their story from, whether you are aware of it or not. Reading Candy Then Meat feels more like a paced out story, like reading The Hobbit and then Lord of the Rings, knowing that something happens with the ring. Whereas then Meat Then Candy kind of seems like reading Lord of the Rings and then reading Silmarillion. Like, they're clearly related, but it feels different than the other story, I guess. Yeah, Oh, that is an interesting analogy. I haven't read any of those books, so I am vaguely familiar with the order of things in Lord of the Rings, but yeah. I mean, yeah. I won't go into it again because I think I've already talked about enough about why I feel like my reading Meat first was the best decision for me. But yeah. No, that is a really interesting way to use that analogy. You wouldn't exactly say they're super entertaining. Oof. But they are rather good. I have definitely heard many good things of Lord of the Rings. I think I've seen the movies, but like it's been a while. This was only possible because you were not initially questioning the identity of the teller, or even considering that there was an identity to consider. I guess you're right. Hence, we may view any story as speakerless or spoken, so as to bring designations to the duality I have just presented. A story may remain speakerless from the beginning until the end, offering no reason for its listener to ever imagine it is of the spoken sort. It can also be spoken from the beginning, which is an upfront announcement to the listener that it carries the perspective of an individual. But a spoken story may also disguise itself as one that is speakerless, just as mine did. As mine just did. The speaker may reveal herself well after the speakerless conditions have been established, and then one may ask, was it spoken by that individual all along while remaining masked, or has the speaker suddenly intervened to command a heretofore speakerless tale? Oh, Cimmerland is just a history book for the whole. Yeah. I mean, okay, so if that's just a history book, then I don't know if I think that reading Meat Then Candy would be like reading Lord of the Rings and then the Cimmerland. It felt more like a continuation of a story. When I read Meat Then Candy, because it picked up after a couple of things that were kind of left to simmer in the meat root. Simmer. Meat. So I think that they follow through in that order quite nicely, rather than Candy just being an explanation of what happens in Meat. And then one may ask, was it spoken by that individual all along while remaining masked, or has the speaker suddenly intervened to command a heretofore speakerless tale? Well, in your case, it certainly did seem like you were the one speaking all along, but using different voices. That's true. Not all situations are like the one I just demonstrated, though. For as long as the hypothetical speaker of a speakerless story remains masked, then it is true that the story could be seen as either speakerless or spoken. Both are true as well as neither. It is best seen as a null factor until there is a departure. Once a hidden speaker becomes unmasked, then retroactively the story may be considered spoken all along. And so too do we retroactively change how we regard what was already been spoken. Which, of course, again, with Meat, is talking about Dirk. That whole... Because the moment you find out that Dirk was driving the narrative, it completely changes the perspective of everything else you just read. Has a lot of things that Candy has. Politics, petty squabbles, war, dramatic stories. Mostly a history book, but dives into some tales and reads like a story. It's fascinating about and explaining. No, it was cool. Yeah, no, that does sound very interesting. Because the narrative isn't blatantly narratively biased as Meat, as Candy reads similarly in that way. Okay. Yeah. Alright, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I guess with our martyr story, by revealing yourself as the teller, it turned out you weren't even sympathetic to the very story it seemed you were trying to get me invested in from the beginning. Almost like a mean prank. Yes, and so there is a very dangerous and destructive quality to these nebulous forces which I have gone to some lengths to demonstrate for you here. Not everyone who is affected by these forces is fit to fully grasp their insidious qualities, or the sense of urgency that they must be resisted with. This is the sort of corruption I now must dedicate my existence in this new body to ending, once and for all. Narrative agenda, so to speak, by the D&D theory. Oh, right. Oh, that's right, your D&D theory. Please explain for Phoenix again, Odd. I fucking love your D&D theory. The shrub falls silent. Aradia takes this to mean the lesson of sorts has ended. She ruminates on it all for a while before speaking again. That's all pretty neat, I guess. So, does this stuff have anything to do with that big hole that just opened in the sky? No. Then, what? What are we doing here, oh great muse? Aradia starts giggling. Above, the sky yawns open a little wider. Aradia waits, but gets no response. Even now, when you're being uncharacteristically forthcoming, you're still impossible to talk to. I understand that, though. I was like that when I was dead, too. Like what? Irrepressibly cryptic. I see. So, can I at least take a guess? Yes. He's coming through there, isn't he? Your brother. That's correct. Are we in danger? He will certainly be very angry, but he will also be wounded, and even on his best day, he would be no match for what I have become. The shrub drifts higher and higher. There's a glint of color at the center of the abyss, a flash like a star going black on the rim of a dying galaxy. Aradia follows behind the shrub, unable to pull her eyes away from the eerie phenomena overhead. What will you do when he comes? The shrub is focused on something very small falling from above. The bright object flutters down from the broken sky and lands in her host body's outstretched hand. It's a feather, burnt at the edges, flickering orange and green. Dave Petta! Consume his body, absorb his essence, and then, using this host, I will generate enough power to move beyond the staggering pull of the event horizon encasing this world, a prison of my own making, which can be escaped only through the supreme unification with my other half. It is crucial to the cosmos that I succeed. The Prince of Heart has to be stopped. Boom. Fucking fuck. Oh my god, we finished. We fucking finished. Postscripts are all that's left. Yeah, we fucking did it. Laz is right. Oh my god. It feels, because it took so many months, it feels like such a monumental occasion to say, yeah, we fucking did the whole thing. I cannot fucking believe I read all of that over 3 fucking days when it first came out. Wow. Okay. So here's the postscript from Meat. which is technically the postscript for Candy. So we're going to read this right after finishing the last chapter so we keep that story flow going, but we will also look at the postscript from Candy. Postscript. Elsewhere, below the horizon, the distant sounds of war travel above the canopy of a forest. The artillery fire fades to a series of muted knocks and thuds as the sound waves across... Wow. Doing this shit again. I'm just gonna go right up all the way to the top. Postscript. Elsewhere, below the horizon, the distant sounds of war travel above the canopy of a forest. The artillery fire fades to a series of muted knocks and thuds as the sound waves cross beyond a thinning patch of the forest and arrive in a clearing of grass and shrubbery. Above, the sky is dramatic, colorful, and menacing, the way it looks when a storm is coming. The clouds are wild, whipped into a sort of spatial frenzy, as if they know what's imminent is no earthly phenomena. Aradia stands in the field, her mouth gaping wide, but not at the sky. It's unusual she isn't grinning, and she slowly corrects this. She smiles brightly at the girl crouching on the ground 10 paces before her. Aradia's never seen anything like what she just saw this girl do. Jade was 16 years old when she showed up, and she doesn't look a day older now, though many hundreds of days have passed. There's a hole piercing the space symbol on her shirt, but no sign of whatever it was that made it. Her legs are covered by the same striped tights as usual, but her feet are shoeless. Her knees are pressed into the mud of the field, and her hands braced against the ground to support her hunched figure. She is covered in blood, almost from head to toe. Fresh blood and viscera surround her in an uneven ring on the field. It soaks her clothes, coats her skin, still gleaming and wet, running slowly down her limbs and face, dripping from her mouth, glasses in the tip of her nose. Her hair is matted, savage-looking, filthy. She looks up. Beyond the rim of her glasses, her wide eyes are solid black. Her lips are parted, revealing her canine fangs. The meat she's chewing is stubborn, raw, and full of grizzle, almost supernaturally tough, but she is a determined beast of prey. She swallows once, hard. The last bit of her meal slides down her throat. The deed is finished. She stands up and closes her eyes. An aura of darkness gathers around her. The blood begins to dissolve as if being absorbed into her skin. She makes 2 fists, plants her feet firmly, and releases an otherworldly howl. A shockwave emanates from her body, knocking Aradia down. It rushes outward, blowing the surrounding trees back as if they're weathering hurricane-force winds. In a moment, calm is restored. She opens her perfectly black eyes again. Maxolinen, welcome. Yeah, we're just polishing off these postscripts here. Hello, Mexico, that's really cool. Greetings from Canada. It's wartime. Yeah. So, Calliope, using the vessel of dead Jade, just ate Caliborn. Lord English. Fuck yeah. Aradia staggers back to her feet and brushes herself off. I take it everything went as you hoped. I take it everything went as you hoped. Jade looks down at her hands as if they belong to an alien. She can feel it now. Abilities have been awakened inside her that no being has ever commanded before. She raises her hands and looks up at the sky. Above her, an immense vortex opens. It swirls many miles upward into blackness, and lightning crackles within. Jade does nothing for a while. She seems to simply study the construct she summoned, this great occult trumpet beckoning her into the abyss. Her face is expressionless. Her glasses flash white as they reflect the lightning that arcs sporadically inside the wormhole. Well, aren't you going in? Wasn't that the idea, or did I not? Jade silently holds up a hand, as if telling her to wait. Aradia closes her mouth, looking embarrassed. Nearby, a red haze gathers in the air. It condenses into concentric rings and spheres of ruby light. The luminous shape of a man fades into the center of the special effect. When the light subsides, Aradia notices the man is made of polished metal. She recognizes the gear symbol on his chest, identical to her own. She also recognizes the sunglasses the robot is wearing. She knows who this is. We're summoning Circle for Aleph. Dave? Sup? He doesn't look in Aradia's direction. His eyes, glowing bright enough to be visible behind his shades, are fixed on Jade. He looks her up and down. She's still so young. He knew this Jade many years ago, but by this point their paths have diverged in ways that he couldn't begin to describe even if he wanted to. So we doing this? Jade says nothing and looks up into the wormhole again. She begins to levitate, gradually picking up speed. Without looking back, she rockets into the vortex, vanishing into the darkness. Davebot turns to Aradia. You don't think it ever says anything hinted in the epilogue, but you always pictured the bots like metatons? Big old squares with wheels? Yeah, agreed. Fucking valid. How about you? Want to come along? I guess so. I'm really not sure what's going on here. To be honest, the plan wasn't discussed much. That's what we're doing now. Discussing the plan. What about your boy, Eye Patches? Oh, Solix is in one of his moods. This was all getting to be a bit much for him. If I go, I'll probably just cut him loose. Good move. So I think what I'm gathering from this, they're going to discuss the plan. He's discussing a plan with Calliope. I think that Davebot is working with Calliope to eliminate Dirk. You assume they're more like a radio bot, but big old square boys. Yeah, I think they do kind of describe them as being very Iradiabot. Very humanoid forms, but yeah. Shed her cheese. I don't think Aradia was ever straight. Aradia is what they would call a bicon. His gaze remains fixed on her. She blinks and looks away, unsure what to say next. He's standing perfectly still, presumably waiting for her to say something. She's met him, what was it? Once, twice before? She can't remember, but she knows this is a very different Dave. Aside from the metal skin, he seems implacably confident. But then, people go through changes. She's been through more than her share. She cocks an eyebrow, recalling her own stint with a metal body. Hey, Earth to what's-her-face. Oh, it's a radio. I know. So that's a yes then? What? You're coming. Better decide quick. I doubt that dank fucking... Oh my god. I completely fucking... God. Dave is fully ascended, but he's still Dave. Phoenix, I have no idea where you're going. Oh my goodness, pardon me. Better decide quick. I doubt that dank fucking hell funnel's staying open for much longer. Yes, I suppose so. That's where all the action is, right? All the action that matters, yeah. Off we go then. Word. He holds out his hand. She looks around and assumes he means for her to take it, so she does. She didn't know someone could fly this fast. He nearly yanks her arm out of his socket. She considers reminding him that maybe this isn't necessary, since she can fly too. But she doesn't want to risk saying more embarrassing stuff around this outrageously cool dude. Besides, they're through the wormhole before she can even finish the thought. It vanishes the moment they've crossed. The hole leaves behind an absence in the sky so calm that continuing to call it a sky wouldn't seem to do it justice. It's a perfectly neutral expanse into which anything one can imagine might be summoned. And for a while, anything was. But not anymore. Where the hole gaped just moments ago, there now exists an imaginary line. Above this line resides all that matters. Below exists all else. Never again the twain shall meet. Damn! God, this line has been so hotly fucking debated in fandom, but I'm just at a lack for words right now. Probably because it's 1:30 in the morning and I'm very tired. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's basically kind of like drawing the line between the canon and non-canon. Kind of saying that, like, the connections between these two timelines are over. There's no more interacting between them, I think is how I've interpreted that. Yo, what the fuck is a big mood? God, reading this at the end of Meat, having not read Candy yet, I was like, by the end of Meat, I was like, okay, I think I know what's going on. Yeah, this was the Meat postscript. By the end of last chapter of Meat, I was like, okay, I think I know what's going on. And then I read the postscript, and I was like, I am back at square one. Literally, what the fuck was that? And I was so just confused and just, like, vibrating out of my skin, and just, like... Ugh. Ugh. So I just had to have some water before starting on the next one. Yeah. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, reading it again after reading all of both of them was like... Such a more powerful ending line than "Where the fuck are my pantaloons?" I know, right? Oh my god. Yeah. Speaking of which, this is the proper postscript for Candy. So, let's give it one last glance over. And then... we'll be done. Postscript. Elsewhere, beyond the horizon, a spaceship tears across a starfield at warp speed. Each dot of distant light stretches to become a spear, hurtling in the opposite direction of the craft faster than any photon ever fired from its surface. The ship was brand new when it departed from Earthsea, and it doesn't look a day older now, even though many hundreds of days have passed. It seems to be built to look somewhat like a shark, by a designer who wasn't totally sure how many fins a shark had, nor where exactly to stick them on the beast's body. Inside, a hot iron smooths the fabric of an elaborate garment, releasing a gentle hiss of steam. At a glance, it looks like the top to a god tier costume, but it clearly isn't standard issue. This one is more stylish, more ornate, more anime? Sometimes one finds there simply isn't another word that will do to describe some sick gear. The iron eases the wrinkles out of the icon emblazoned on its chest. A hot pink heart, bisected vertically, hollow in one half. A shiny, graceful metal hand puts the iron down, removes the garment from the ironing board, and reaches for the pantaloons. She isn't even sure how he gets these things so wrinkly. Perhaps it's all the time he spends training in the hypergravity chamber, assuming they've got one of those. Then again, there are times when he seems so high-strung he could wrinkle a good anime costume sitting perfectly still in an armchair. She drapes the pantaloons over the board, then pauses to reach for the candy bowl nearby. She doesn't actually need to eat anymore. The entire concept of eating has been upended for her. It's not about sustenance, or even necessarily about enjoying certain flavors. It's more about staying connected to a vestigial habit reminding her of the humanity she'd been forced to abandon. Not just any kind of candy would cut it. The sensors on her metal tongue are very particular. Weaker than taste buds and arranged differently. These would taste like some combination of battery acid and wasabi to a human tongue, but to her the flavor is mild, exotic, and certainly worth snacking on to pass the time. Human teeth wouldn't stand a chance of cracking these, but hers make short work of turning the candy into fine gravel. One of her more reckless shipmates chipped a tooth trying one, despite repeated warnings to stay away from the stuff. God damn it, Terzi. God, I love Terzi so fucking much. Oh my god, you're imagining the robot from the Jetsons? Oh, wow. Pardon me. My god, I'm yawning a lot. Okay. The iron hits a snag on the pantaloons, putting an awkward crease in the ridiculous billowing fabric. She curses and puts the iron down. She decides laundry day is officially over. The guy can just wear a wrinkly pair of pants today for all she cares. It's not like he has an audience, despite his best efforts to behave as if he did all the time. She doesn't really enjoy doing laundry or ironing silly anime ensembles, and she considers herself nobody's maid. It's just that there hasn't been much to do on this ship. It's not like the old days of her long-range interstellar travels, that halcyon period riding on a meteor across the abyss for years with an atmosphere of camaraderie and feelings of optimism, a rewardingly transformative period in everyone's young life. She guesses this is just what things feel like on a long journey when you're older and with a much smaller crew. She turns off the iron, then wanders off down a corridor. It's nothing like the meteor in here. Bright, futuristic. Skynet does build a lovely ship, she has to admit. She turns a corner and her foot kicks something. It's a stray ruby slipper. The other is about 10 feet away down the hall. No sign of their owner anywhere. She'd sigh, except she doesn't breathe anymore. She doesn't consider herself to be her maid either, but she reaches down to pick up the slippers nonetheless. She enters a room central to the ship, one that she visits now and then, possibly for sentimental reasons. Or maybe it's just to creep herself out. Situated near the wall is something that looks like a rather elegantly designed iron lung. It's mostly made of glass, with polished silver trim around the sides and base. There's a digital monitor on the wall. She approaches and places her hands on the glass with a faint metal clink. She used to live in this body. She's dressed in the same clothes she was wearing the day she slipped into the coma. A special tiara replaces her typical hairband, lined with the blinking transmitters. The device beams her awareness directly into her current mechanical avatar. She presumes it utilizes the same technology that Jade's grandfather once used to build a dreambot for her, which functions similarly. She knows she'll never be able to inhabit the sleeping body again. She honestly can't decide whether that makes her feel sad or relieved. She ponders the future of her old body. Will it all work as planned? She has to believe it will. It is the only path to achieve permanence for these tenuous bodily accommodations. A jarring sound snaps her out of her reverie. It's an alert, beeping urgently from the cockpit. The robot leaves her entombed living body and runs quickly through the winding corridors. She sits down at the helm and examines the monitor. A new planet is within sensor range. She studies the millions of statistics all pouring in at once. Her pupilless eyes take them all in simultaneously, her head needing only to move a quarter-inch from side to side to pan her vision across the data. It's an M-class planet. The right size, right age, right distance from the sun. There is no advanced life yet. It's exactly what they've been looking for all these years. Her heart doesn't beat any faster because its pace is regulated by an internal chip. She consciously accelerates it anyway. It's been a long time since she's had the occasion to feel exhilarated. She missed the sensation of the old flesh ticker acting of its own accord. The thoughts in her powerful brain race. What will they name the planet? How long will it take for the ship to arrive? Once the new race has established an advanced enough civilization thousands of years from now, who will the lucky kids be? The ones who get the chance to play what will arguably be the most important session in the history of Spurb. She holds her thoughts. They can wait, and there's much to discuss. She taps a button and lowers her head a little closer to the mic on the panel. Dirk? She supplies a courtesy pause, as if waiting for him to reply. He usually doesn't. You're going to want to come see this. Enough time goes by that she begins to wonder if he's asleep. But no. It's just the irritated silence of a man who knows he isn't currently dressed well enough to attend to something important. Are my fucking pantaloons ready yet? So, we're done. I just had to take a moment of silence and now as I'm starting to speak in my timing anyway, I know that the stream is a little bit off, a little bit delayed, but I'm starting to see the "we're fucking done" in all caps rolling in. I was just like, yes, that is fucking it. We're finished. Almost 200,000 fucking words of gorgeous prose and horrific descriptions of Gamzee's smell and fucking fascist Jane and ultimate Dirk and John almost getting vored and all this fucking wild shit, and we're done. We're fucking finished. We're fucking done. And just in fucking time for Pesterquest volumes 1 and 2 coming out in just shy of a week. That impeccable motherfucking timing. Whoo! Wow. Done. No more countdown needed. I mean, we don't really need this anymore. I guess I can continue using this as pre-stream music. So I'll just mark off a week? Roughly, yeah. I mean, exactly 1 week on this Wednesday. So it's closer to a week and a half, but you know. A surprising amount of vor. Yeah, we'll start track 14. Okay. So if you give me a minute, I will find the Poke Rap. Can we do a deep dive? Y'all, I need to go the fuck to bed, okay? I'm tossing this shit on and then I'm backing away. Vor it, if you will. We have to vor Brian David Gilbert and absorb his essence. God. There can only be one? I just remember that being a Homestuck thing, because, you know, my brain never stops thinking about Homestuck. Although, granted, we also did just finish reading a bunch of Homestuck things, so, you know, would be reasonable for my brain to be thinking of Homestuck at this point in time. Highlander? Have not seen it. Okay, let me see here.
Shrink your mother.
Shrink
your father.
What the fuck?
Shrink your grandma.
That was an advertisement, and I sincerely apologize. I was not gonna let it play long enough to figure out what the fuck a shrink is. Anyway. I did indeed find what I was looking for. Okay. You think it's a camera? Oh, okay. Cool, cool. Alright. Here it is. The full song, The Perfect Poke Rap. And what a way to end Homestuck Epilogue streams. You can take on Griffin McElroy. Oh god. Then Justin. Then the final boss. Travis. Yeah. Okay. Well, I gotta say, it's been a long roller coaster of a journey through these past few months of trying to claw our way through figuring out the fucking Homestuck Epilogues. Yeah. Gotta say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all for taking this journey with me. Y'all have made the epilogues and reading them and parsing them a far more enjoyable experience than they ever have the right to be. Yeah, and just thanks so much for sticking around, hanging out just in general, right? And we come across, oh well, you know what? It's my pleasure. I'm really happy to hear that. I'm really glad that you're enjoying these streams so much, because, you know, I have a lot of fun doing them, and I'm really excited to keep going with more Homestuck things. With fucking Pesterquest, y'all. I'm so excited. And yeah, the next Homestuck Reread is coming up. Almost exactly 1 year ago, when we finished reading Homestuck the first time, I was like, I'll take, like, you know, a year gap and then we'll do it again. We'll see how it goes. It's been, I think it's going to be almost exactly 1 year since we finished the last Homestuck Reread. How long have y'all been here? 2 years. Yeah, we're coming up to the 2-year anniversary of these streams. Yeah. Y'all two have been here for almost two flippin' years. October 21st is the exact date of the 2-year anniversary of when I started yelling things from my bedroom. Oh god, I have to think about what I'm gonna do for that. I feel like I should do something special, but I don't know what to do. Have you saw it on Tumblr and decided, fuck it. Yeah, I'm also really happy that I'm very happy that y'all found your way over here, because it's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, it's been so much time talking with y'all, hanging out, going on these roller coaster fucking story journeys. I should be more eloquent about this, but it's just one of those brain fry moments where I'm just like, it's so many emotions. Make Homestuck too. Yeah, God. Yeah, I don't know. Last year, it's well, you know, hella tired. Yeah. Prepare a speech. That's true. I should make some talking points so I don't babble forever. Yeah, I think last year we ended up hitting exactly the weekend of my 1-year streaming anniversary, to finish Homestuck. Like, we did Act 7 and the credits on, like, exactly that weekend. I would be tickled fucking pink if we finished Dream Daddy streams with that exact timing to restart the Homestuck streams. Restart Homestuck Reread streams on that fucking weekend again this year. Although I don't think that the 21st falls on a weekend. I think it's like a Monday or something. Let me look. Yeah, it's a Monday. But y'all, if Dream Daddy streams make those weekends line up again, that's gonna be some good shit. I'll be very happy with that. Oh yeah, no, my sleep schedule is all fucked up too. Don't worry about it. No, I feel you on that. But yeah, I mean, speaking of Dream Daddy streams, yeah, so that's the plan for now, for the weekends now that the epilogues are finished. So the day after tomorrow, Tuesday, regular bonus stream day, we'll do the last bonus stream until we'll see when they come back. Just because, you know, school stuff. My schedule is kind of weird. I kind of want to get into the groove of things and see when I could maybe do bonus streams. But yeah, Dream Daddy is a very long game. I usually try and do shorter ones for bonus streams, but I didn't realize how expansive Dream Daddy is. It's really good. So Dream Daddy Tuesday, and then next weekend, Friday, Saturday streams, we will start Dream Daddy weekend streams. Whew. All right. We did it. We're done. Finito with the epilogues. Every time the stream ends, you're just left in a good-ass mood. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm really happy that it leaves you in a good mood. Yeah, all right. Well, I shall cut the stream at this point, before, during, and after. Aw. That's really sweet. I'm super glad that this is like a thing that puts you in a good mood. That is, you know, part of the goal for me. Spread a little joy. Spread a little cheer. Very wholesome. Yeah, we're getting super... It's getting into very mushy territory. But yes, fun game for the people watching on YouTube, although I guess if you're watching on YouTube, you've already watched the entire video, but like... count the number of times I've yawned over the course of this video. It's probably at least 10 times. It's... Yeah, which is weird, because, like, I got a decent sleep, but... I don't know. One of those days. Today's been very fuzzy. It's been fuzzy wuzzy. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna fucking go to bed. Yeah. Good night and good times. Indeed, indeed. Good night and good times to you as well, Snake Cat. Have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever you may be getting up to. Hopefully I will be seeing all of you back here again on Tuesday night for continuing Dream Daddy. We have Craig, Brian, and Hugo are 3 contenders for the next date. So keep that in your noggin. Think about which one you think we would try out next. And yeah. That is a good fucking night on my end. Indeed, I'm going to do the same, Phoenix. I'm going to enjoy this Poke-Rap and then fall the fuck asleep. Heck yeah, be excited for Dream Daddy. It's going to be super fun. Yeah, it's a real good game, and those are always really fun streams. Yeah, Joseph was, like, surprisingly good, yeah, for sure. I just, I wasn't sure. I was like, where are they gonna... Okay, so he's married. Like, where are they gonna take his story here? Yeah, Joseph was a religious one. And then I was like, okay, so this is where they're going. And I am intrigued to find out where they take it next. And we shall eventually find out, because we are going to do all 3 dates for every single person. Anyway. Dream Daddy Tuesday. Fingers crossed, I will be seeing y'all back here. Good night. Have a good sleep if that's what you're doing next. And the perfect Poke-Rap will play us out.